In Paris, Sam shows up at a party hosted by his ex-girlfriend. But he isn't there to mingle or have fun. His only goal is to retrieve his old tapes. His ex, busy entertaining guests, asks him to wait for a bit, leaving Sam awkwardly standing around, feeling like an outsider. After getting tired of waiting, he insists on knowing where his belongings are so he can take them himself. She points him toward an office and tells him to stay there until she's free to talk. Ignoring the drunken crowd in the corridor, Sam heads straight into the office, locks the door, and finally gets some peace. While searching through the room, he eventually finds his things. Suddenly, his nose starts bleeding, so he grabs some tissues and sits down to rest. Exhausted, he dozes off, completely missing the shouting and chaos erupting outside. When morning comes, Sam wakes up, collects his stuff, and opens the door only to be horrified by the sight before him. The apartment is in total ruin, with blood splattered everywhere. Alarmed, he grabs a random object for protection and steps outside, only to realize that the party guests, including his ex, have all turned into zombies. They lunge at him, but Sam slams the door shut just in time. Looking out the window, he sees the horror continues beyond the building. Paris is overrun. Zombies chase down the few survivors, tearing them apart. On the street, a family tries to escape in their car, but the sound of the horn attracts a horde, which surrounds and kills them. Back inside, Sam searches through the jackets and bags left behind by the partygoers. He finds their phones and listens to the desperate last calls and final messages people had left for their loved ones. When the noise in the hallway dies down, he cautiously steps out of the office and makes his way to the roof, hoping to see signs of life. But the city below is silent. No rescue, no survivors. Accepting that he'll have to survive on his own, Sam begins by cleaning the rooms, scrubbing away the blood. Suddenly, a strange noise comes from the apartment below. A gunshot follows, leaving a hole in the floor. When Sam peers through, he realizes the neighbor downstairs has taken his own life. Curious, Sam breaks the hole wider with a metal bar and climbs down. He covers the old man with a blanket, then checks the other body in the room and discovers the man had shot his infected wife before turning the gun on himself. Sam raids their kitchen for supplies, takes the firearm, and gathers as many bullets as he can. He cautiously explores the building, closing doors behind him as he moves. At the front entrance, he barely manages to shut the door before zombies outside can get in. With the building secured, Sam finds the caretaker's room, where he collects the keys to all the apartments and even discovers a can of tuna, which he eats immediately. Organizing the keys by number, he prepares to search the entire building. The first apartment he enters houses a zombified family. They attack, but after a struggle, Sam pushes one off and escapes, quickly locking the door and marking it with an X. The other apartments are empty, allowing him to gather food, tools, and even a paintball gun. Being a musician, he's delighted to find an MP3 player, old cassettes, and a drum set. Once his search is complete, he fashions a makeshift mask to protect his face. While closing things up, he's startled when the elevator suddenly moves, revealing a lone zombie inside. The creature doesn't act aggressively, so Sam decides not to kill it. Instead, he ties the gate shut with a belt to keep it trapped. Later that evening, Sam sits down with food, listening to his old tapes and reminiscing about better times. The following day, he organizes his supplies, rationing everything carefully and noting it in a journal. He uses the dirt on a window to create a grid where he counts the days. To relieve stress, he bangs on the drums, though he must be cautious, as the sound lures zombies to the windows. Time passes, and Sam keeps himself busy with cooking, marking days, and watching the silent city from the roof at night. He even uses the paintball gun to shoot at zombies on the street, crossing them off on pictures of his ex. He records sounds from random objects and mixes them into music. One day, he smells something foul and realizes the bodies below are decomposing. Unable to throw them out like trash, he carefully places them in sleeping bags on their bed, adding some of their belongings beside them. After a moment of silence, he seals the room with tape to contain the smell. Later, when the water runs out mid-shower, Sam feels despair creeping in. That night, he dreams of zombies breaking into his room and tearing him apart, only to wake up in terror it was just a nightmare. The next day, he adds exercise to his routine, jogging through the halls while listening to music. Passing the elevator, he shakes the trapped zombie's hand and decides to name him Alfred. When rain finally comes, Sam places containers everywhere to collect water and washes himself clean. Sitting by Alfred, he smokes a cigar and confides that the hardest part is not knowing what happened to his family. Another day, while aiming his paintball gun at zombies outside, Sam spots a cat wandering the street. Excited, he rushes down, opens a can of tuna and tries to coax it out from under a car. The cat slowly approaches. A sudden noise scares it off. Determined, Sam sneaks around to find it, but a zombie notices him. He hides in a car and fights one off, only to be ambushed by another. Barely escaping, he runs back inside, locking the door. Looking out the window, he's crushed to see the cat calmly sitting next to the zombies. In frustration, he shoots at it. Then he notices blood on the floor and realizes he was scratched during the struggle. After disinfecting the wound, he sits in front of a mirror, gun in hand, ready to end things if he turns. Exhaustion overtakes him, and he accidentally fires the weapon in his sleep. Luckily, he isn't hit. Waking up to find himself unchanged, he laughs with relief. Time passes. While tending to plants, he hears noises from outside. Looking across the street, he sees someone in a window but can't tell if it's a human or a zombie. Hoping for company, he runs to the roof, but there's no trace of life. With the cold setting in, he builds a pillow fort and lights a fire to warm water for a bath. Loneliness gnaws at him. He imagines going outside for supplies but never finds the courage. He drinks to cope and one day rants at Alfred, furious about his situation. His shouting escalates when Alfred rattles the cage, until finally Sam throws a bottle and storms back into the apartment. Later, he apologizes to Alfred. As food dwindles, Sam listens to old tapes of his family and breaks down, sweeping everything off the table in frustration. One night, startled by a noise, he fires his gun through a door only to discover he shot a woman. Horrified, he brings her to bed, removes the bullet, and begs her to survive. He finds her bag, which contains rope and a grappling hook. The next morning, he's shocked to find she's alive. Her name is Sarah, and she tells him she's been moving across rooftops to stay alive, never lingering more than a week in one place. Though Sam assures her the building is safe, she warns that the noise of the gunshot has drawn zombies, and eventually they'll break through. Sam takes her on his daily walk through the building, promising Alfred would never harm them. To his joy, Sarah later helps him make music, and for the first time in ages, he feels hope, but food is almost gone. Desperate, Sam breaks into the X-marked apartment and kills the zombies inside to scavenge supplies. When he returns, Sarah is gone. He finds her on the roof, preparing to leap to another building. She insists they must leave, but Sam begs her to stay. Angry, she storms away. Only then does Sam realize the truth. Sarah never survived. She was a hallucination born of his loneliness. Her body still lies in bed where he left it. Heartbroken, he holds her hand, covers her gently, and lights candles for her. Looking through her camera, he finds photos of her family, and then a photo of himself on the roof, proving she had once been real. Accepting his crumbling sanity, Sam decides to move on. He burns his old tapes, gathers Sarah's gear, and prepares to leave. But first, he frees Alfred, who doesn't attack, and instead follows him. Sam leads him into another apartment. The fire alarm suddenly goes off, triggered by the burning tapes, and zombies swarm into the building. Sam fights as many as he can, but is eventually overwhelmed and forced to flee. He races into the elevator shaft, climbing to safety as hands claw for him. Reaching another apartment, he's attacked but manages to trap the zombie under furniture. Returning to his smoke-filled flat, he slips through unnoticed by the zombies and climbs to the roof. Using Sarah's hook, he throws a rope to the neighboring building. A zombie lunges at him, and without hesitation, Sam jumps, crashing against the wall. Bruised but alive, he pulls himself up, reaching the rooftop. Breathing heavily, he looks over Paris. The city is still crawling with death, but in the distance, he hears faint noises, sounds that might mean survivors. So, what did you think of this movie? Leave it in the comments below, and if you liked the video, like and subscribe for more movie recaps. See you next time!